Good morning, everyone. This is Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, featuring news headlines from our city, our state, our country. If I seem a little absent minded, is because a peripheral thought just entered my mind as I was listening to the background music. I started thinking about Wednesday, and not the word, but the spelling of it. I mean, think about it. I know I'm going to Google this when I'm done with the broadcast, but it's spelled Wednesday, and that's a long spelling for a two-syllable word, or a word that we say in two syllables. Wednesday, but Wednesday. I mean, I'm going to research it. Pay no attention to me. I just got curious about this. If anybody knows the source of the word Wednesday or why it is such a complicated word to write and not so complicated to say, feel free to throw in a nice comment. Okay, I got that out of my system. Now, let's start again. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. Welcome back to our morning get together where we get easily distracted by questions like that, where we examine headlines from our city, our state, and our country to get a better sense as to how Mexico feels, thinks, runs, and how we can best take advantage of it as a community of English-speaking locals living here in Puerto Vallarta. We also take a look at your questions, your ideas, and your suggestions. We want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, so we can all learn from each other and have a wonderful time doing so. Today, again, it's Wednesday, September 28th. September is almost over. We are about to start October, which means that the weather is increasingly getting more and more comfortable. We're still schwitzing here at Coffee and Headlines headquarters, but that's okay. As always, if this is your first time joining us, feel free to let us know by adding the word new to your comment. Luisa is already out of control by saying Wednesday. I like that. Yeah, it would be a good day to get wet, either through drinking or through dipping in a swimming pool or the ocean. Anyhow, so you are new, you want to let us know, write the word new. You have an interesting question, comment, such as the one Dan just made. This should have had a Q. Well, not should have, but this is important. The English word Wednesday is derived from Old English and means wooden's day. The Germanic god wooden is also known as Odin. Oh, who knew? But there you go. Wednesday is, there's the explanation. Anyhow, if you have something important to say, such as this beautiful contribution from Den, consider adding a capital letter Q to the beginning of it. That way we won't miss it. Today in the news, we have more information about the pier in Boca de Tomatlan. We have information about vacation days in Mexico. How does Mexico compare to other countries? Well, we get to find out during the broadcast. We also have a little bit of context information about the new Arts Council in Puerto Vallarta, and I'm going to try not to roll my eyes for that one, and a couple of other nuggets that you may find interesting in this hump day. So brace yourselves. Let's do it. Oh, and speaking of brace yourselves. I am definitely thinking about our friends in Florida today, especially because I've been watching this other television series that has to do with Hurricane Katrina. So if you are in Florida or if you know people that are in Florida, please stay safe. And that's all I can think of saying. Just be careful out there. Anyhow, maybe we spoke too soon, or maybe all we needed to do is to talk about it. But work on the new pier at Boca de Tomatlan was supposed to start Monday, but it didn't. Then the papers commented on this yesterday, and apparently work began, which is good, just like that. The new structure, the new pier, will be 45 meters long and will feature two sections, one for passengers to embark and disembark, and another one to move materials. According to Jose Martinez Gil, who is Director of Strategic Projects for the Municipality of Puerto Vallarta, the new pier could be ready as soon as January of next year. So it could be ready in 4 months, and I think that is absolutely awesome. Now, let's talk vacation days, because Mexico's Senate, Mexico's senators from Mexico's Commission for Work and Social Welfare have approved a modification to Articles 76 and 78 of our country's federal labor law to increase vacation time from 6 to 12 days during the first year of employment. Let me explain that. You start working for a company, the first year, you get 6 days of paid vacation. That's it. And this has been going on for 50 years. That is, the amount of vacation time for Mexican workers had been 6 days for the past 50 years. Now, this is important. This is important when you compare Mexico with other countries. For example, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Brazil grant 30 days of paid vacation to their workers, while Spain grants 22 rather. And another way to look at it is through this chart, where you can see that Mexico and China are listed together in the same color as the two countries with the least amount of paid vacation for their workers. So again, this is a significant move by Mexico's Senate. Is this now going to be the case? I certainly hope so. All I see in the news item is that this has been approved. I don't know exactly when it goes into effect. Yesterday was World Tourism Day, and many tourism bigwigs in Mexico at municipal, state, and federal level had important statements to make about how we are recovering from the pandemic, how occupancy in hotels is high, and so forth and so on. We regularly report these things, so we don't need to go there today. But we do have a few nuggets that Federal Tourism Secretary Miguel Torruco did have to share, and I'd like to share them with you. He was, in fact, in Nuevo Nayarit yesterday, celebrating World Tourism Day, and he was asked about the tourism tianguis. Now, just so you know, the tourism tianguis, or tianguis turístico, is Mexico's most important tourism-related event, with hoteliers, vacation wholesalers, airlines, travel agents, and members of the national and international press and other important pieces of the international tourism puzzle come together here in Mexico to learn about our country's offerings and negotiate. This is the most important tourism-related event that Mexico has. It was started in 1975 in Acapulco, where it took place every year until 2012, when it became itinerant, returning to Acapulco every 2 years. In fact, the first itinerant edition of this important event took place here in Puerto Vallarta at our convention center. Now, this event is not Gala Vallarta, which is what we were talking about a couple of days ago. Gala Vallarta is a local mini version of the national event. But of course, it is equally important to Puerto Vallarta. Okay, so that was the context. Back to our friend, the tourism secretary, Torruco. He received a request from Nayarit's governor, Miguel Angel Navarro Quintero, to bring the tourism tianguis to the state of Nayarit, to which the secretary politely answered, there is always a possibility, but the host cities for 2023 and 2024, Mexico City and Acapulco, respectively, have already been established. And everything could happen during the next administration, but we would have to wait until the next presidential administration. Uh, Torruco also touched base on the Marias Islands, which we've been talking about for some time. They are now expected to be inaugurated this year and bound to become an important new attraction for the state of Nayarit. But again, no specific information was provided. Information continues to trickle about this, and we're just going to continue watching it trickle, and we will report more details about Islas Marias as we learn it. And of course, just yesterday or the day before, we were talking about the tianguis, not the tianguis, the Gala Vallarta, which is the smaller version of Tianguis Turístico, which takes place with the collaboration of Nayarit and Puerto Vallarta. We are going to have to wait and see whether that'll happen this year or not, because as you can see, the government of Nayarit seems intent on, dancing to their own drumbeat, which is fine. Let us take a look at the weather forecast just to see what is in store for the next few days. Okay, I have no idea what wubba lubba dub dub has to do with anything. If anybody knows um, anything about that phrase, wubba lubba dub dub, please feel free to illuminate us or enlighten us. Right now, it is 26 degrees. Humidity is at 89%, and I don't know why I'm feeling so schwitzy this morning. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 80, and our weather forecast for today says rain until morning, starting again in the evening, with a high of 31 and a low of 25. I'm actually not sure if it rained this morning or not. Tomorrow, Thursday, possible light rain in the morning and afternoon with a high of 32 and a low of 24. And Friday, rain will start in the afternoon with a high of 31 and a low of 24. So our temperatures continue to be very summery, but the mornings have been chillier, and hopefully that tendency will increase as we continue getting closer to our much anticipated fall weather. Now, I have another bit of news here that requires a bit of context, and I'm going to apologize in advance because my delivery is going to be very, very jaded, and I'm going to explain myself in a second. In this lovely photo, you can see Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Michel on the left side and Luis Escoto Martinez on the right side. Escoto Martinez oversees the Puerto Vallarta Cultural Institute. They are here announcing the new Municipal Culture and Arts Council. Sounds important, no? Well, again, call me jaded, but it will probably amount to as much as the girl that was crowned Queen of Public Relations for this year's Mexican Independence celebration. You have to wonder whatever happened with her or what she is going to be up to with such a big title. But I digress. Let me explain this Culture Council business. A few months ago, our municipality announced a search for representatives of art and culture promotion in different areas such as visual arts, music, dance, and so forth to join the newly formed Culture and Arts Council here in Puerto Vallarta and work directly with Luis Escoto, the guy on the right, who landed as director, and I say director in quotes, of the Vallarta Cultural Institute as a campaign promise. He has no credentials to run a cultural institute. At some point, somebody forwarded me his resume, and it was, let's just say, not the right profile for the job. Now, I happen to know that they didn't get enough respondents to that initial search. Then the municipal government launched a second call for members to be part of this council, and they finally managed to find 10 members out of 12 that they were looking for. These members are people that we know, movers and shakers of our city, and they are outlined in the article that I'm referencing here. Now, is this council going to be able to get anything done? Will they transform the cultural and art scene in Puerto Vallarta? Well, people that are in the know keep telling me that it's a thing. So please forgive me if I throw a bit of shameless skepticism into this news item. Will they do anything? Probably not. Hopefully they will, but do I have a lot of faith in this? Not really. Prove me wrong. If anybody knows anything that I should know or that we should know about this Cultural Arts Council, please feel free to share in your comments. Now, another level of art is, of course, happening in our capital city, and we have another reason to escape to Guadalajara. This time, the 21st National Traditional Mariachi Summit will take place in the capital city in Guadalajara from October 2nd to the 8th, with all sorts of musical performances by mariachi ensembles and traditional Mexican folk music ensembles from all over the country. And there will be opportunities to enjoy fandangos. Now, a fandango is when folks that enjoy traditional mariachi music gather to sing and dance on wooden platforms and share the love for the music. If you are intrigued by this, please feel free to write the word fandango in your comment, and I will gladly elaborate on this concept in the future. The closing day of this event will take place on October 8th, and it will feature 2 large outdoor stages and over 20 meters of wooden platforms or tarimas for the public to be able to hop on and hop off and dance traditional mariachi music together. This should be a lot of fun. Oh my God, to be able to escape to Guadalajara for this one, that would be absolutely fantastic. And last but not least, before we get into your comments, I love a good headline, and this one grabbed my attention. Looking for a sense of belonging? Start with being a good guest. Of course, I was intrigued about this, and I clicked, and this is a wonderful article from Vox featuring practical questions and tips for creating community. And this is taken from the point of view of how are we gathering, how are we hosting, how are we attending events or invitations or shindigs of one kind or another after the pandemic. I glanced through the article and I thought it would be very interesting to read. I'm going to read it complete, and I thought I would share that with you as well. Last but not least, today Mexico celebrates the birthday of one of our most renowned pop music singers, the wonderful Jose Jose. It is unfortunate that I didn't realize this until this morning, so we're going to be featuring a song by Jose Jose sometime in the near future, maybe by the end of the week. And I will suggest that you stay in touch. Pay attention to your inbox because we will be announcing the song ahead of time, as we mentioned the last time we broke down a song here at Coffee and Headlines. So I'll let you know ahead of time what the song is so that you can listen to it and we can break it down and unpack it together. Now, let's take a quick look at your comments. As always, I thank you very much for sharing these morning broadcasts with me. It means a lot. As much and more than your wonderful good mornings. Good morning, says Judy from Brisas del Pacifico. And John is all the way in Chile, Chicago. I read this earlier from Karen. Had to put my winter comforter on my bed last night. Well, I would love weather like that, at least for a few days, just to enjoy crocheting something big like a comforter. But that's just me. Let's see what we have. Oh, Robin, hello. Robin says, good morning from Pig Out Groceries. And I love that. In case you didn't know, Robin Spencer is a wonderful local, and she goes shopping. She goes shopping for you. That's why the Pig Out Groceries. So a shout out to Robin's wonderful home delivery service of groceries and such. I'm sure that she has a website or a Facebook page that she can share with us if she'd like to. Let's see what else we have. Dun, 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 dun. Kathleen is like, I'm not counting days yet, but it so happens to be less than 6 weeks. I love it. So Kathleen is counting weeks, not days. Counting nonetheless. I love that. Here's another counter. Kathy Souza. Good morning, Paco and friends. One more week until we get on a plane for 8 days in Nayarit and Jalisco. Good for you. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Yes, yes, The Crown is back on Netflix early November. I envision a 2-day binge, says Kathleen. I totally hear you. I'm going to be there with you, not physically, but I'm going to definitely binge on that. And as I mentioned earlier, I've been watching this 5 Days at Memorial series about Hurricane Katrina, and it is incredibly heavy and sad, but important to watch. I managed to watch the first 2 episodes by themselves, but then I could only take 1 episode at a time, and I needed to stop and pause. But I totally recommend it. Let's see. Michael has been away. Welcome back, Michael. Wherever you went, I hope you got some rest. We were talking about your restaurants and wondering when you will be opening them again. So feel free to let us know if you are still watching this morning. I see a couple of people that have written the word fandango, so I will be so very happy to talk about the fandango sometime in the near future. Luisa got all excited about Jose Jose. Sherry says, hey, Paco, you can crochet a big blanket or comforter for your cluster, even if you don't need one. You know, as it happens, Sherry, I end up crocheting a bunch of things, and then I spontaneously will give them away as presents because one can do that. And of course, I am working on a big blanket right now. Whether I'll ever use it or not, or whether I'll give it away, is beside the point. Again, I crochet because it brings a lot of comfort and it is very meditative for me. One more comment. I have 65 more days till I get to enjoy your wonderful city again. Can't wait. Good for you, Deborah Lee. I hope that your time in our city, however long or short it will be, that it will be very, very fulfilling. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of today's Coffee and Headlines. I'm ready for the cool weather. I'm ready for the fall. I'm ready for Halloween. I'm ready for Day of the Dead. I'm ready for all the wonderful things that we have to look forward to in this coming season. But between now and then, we have daily things to take care of, and we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to, of course, get together here as we always do. So I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again soon, maybe even tomorrow. Take care.